Welcome to the Just Being Frank Show, the realest sports talk show on YouTube, giving fans a real-life perspective on sports and entertainment.
You knew better, you do better, who do it better? Get top of the morning, afternoon, night, depending on where you at. It's the Pope, your host that do the most. Welcome to Just Being Frank Show. We got to talk about Kelsey Pistol Mitchel, Sophie GUNINHAND Cunningham, they post-game presser. They talked about the game. Let's dive into it, and we're going to react to it right after.
Kelsey, you guys shoot barely over 30%, but still climb out with a win. What did you guys find on the defensive end to be able to get this one?
I think the last week and a half we've been focusing on BJ specifically and Karima. Christmas have done a really great job of telling us what it meant to defend in order to score in this league. And I think that that should be our goal throughout the course of the year, not waiting to defend and get stops. And I mean, especially when you're not hitting individually, I think I would have liked to shot well, but I think defensively we could continue to do that early and not so late. We won't be in this position.
So you guys weren't hitting, including you. Did you feel like there was something wrong with your offensive process today as a team, or just some of the shots you guys would like normally?
I just think some of you would like. I think, specifically for me, if people go under on the ball, I'm going to shoot it. And I just, obviously it sucked not going in, but hopefully in the future it will.
Oh, it will.
I think that overall, though, offense is not our problem. I think that will cultivate itself chemistry-wise as we get to know each other and where each other likes.
Yeah, 79 points, shooting terribly, 30% from as a team, and without Caitlin Clark, and they still dropped 79 points. So, yeah, no problem offensively, and we're going to be much more efficient when CC get there. And even if CC wasn't there, these girls not going to shoot like that as bad as they shot today. So, and you still came out with a win, even though it's preseason, it's a win. You still came out with a win with shooting 30% from the field as a team. That's crazy.
The ball and et cetera, but I think defensively, that's just an effort thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that for us to have that run that everybody's talking about, we got to defend. Got to.
That's right.
Yeah, you guys found 15 in the second quarter, then you went on that 17-5 run. Just what sparked that, and what did Steph say to you guys?
I think it was less Steph and more of our group. A combination of our vets and even Caitlin. Once you see one go in, you cultivate.
That's what she mean by even like Caitlin. What she's saying is that it was less Steph and more of our group. So it was more so of them talking to each other and telling each other what they need to be doing. And even Caitlin, who wasn't suited up today, but she let you know, Caitlin was telling us what she sees and what we could be doing better as well.
You're able to get those stops and go on the transition and score. I think you just start to have full good energy. Additionally, I think that the other part was just having a form of grit and respect for yourself as a player. I think anybody who wants to compete and win, you're going to dig deep and get what you need to get done. And I think that's what you saw in the second quarter.
Oh, that's what I saw.
Kind of bigger picture. When you guys came into the year last year, it was a lot of talk about just making the playoffs. And this season, you bring in a whole bunch of championship experience.
Yeah.
How different do the expectations feel this year?
I think it does feel a little different. I think that's the obvious part. You bring in so much firepower, right? I think that the ones that's been here, there were changes made to make sure that we can get better and find what we need, to be our best selves. But I think that it's a good thing. I think having these guys here and cultivate winning. I never won at the highest level, so I'm learning that myself, as well as AB and Caitlin. So we want to figure it out with the older guys and the ones that's had a chance to win at the high level. But I do think them two coming to us is also a new experience for them, new threads, new everything. So I think collectively it's going to take a while, but I think it's worth it.
Kelsey, what did you think of the versatility Sophie offered you off the bench, but also the energy she brought as well?
Sophie's that wild card, man. Her and Lexi together. I think their energy, when I talk about effort defensively and just figuring it out and having a willingness, that's Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall. They do an unbelievable job.
What it's saying, that's what I was telling y'all way earlier. Sophie is a better Lexi Hall. She's a better offensive Lexi Hall. Lexi Hall is better a little bit maybe on defense, or she hustles a little hard. But Sophie, I mean, listen, hey, they two are the same on defense, honestly. Offensively, Sophie is better. But Lexi, because she got to start making them layups. But she looked all right out there on the offense, like she was within herself.
Job of just being present, being where they need to be, taking the necessary play. That kind of stuff you can't teach, and I think that's how you win games. And I think not just them, if we can all just do that early and consistently, we have a good chance to be more like Sophie.
Be more like Sophie.
You've always been a scorer.
Yeah.
And you've always had success. Is that like an inbred confidence so that if you do have a slow start like that, you're going to start falling?
I think so. Right. I think for me, I don't shoot every day for no reason. Obviously, it's tough when you don't see a couple go in, especially when you feel like you worked on it. I just was on this same court yesterday about like 3 or 4 o'clock, shooting the same shot. So it sucks that it didn't go in, but I think having that mindset, like, hey, like I'll work on this. I believe in my preparation. Obviously, it sucks when it doesn't happen, but I can't dwell. So I'm going to keep shooting the ball, taking the right shots, not just for me, but for my team.
You and Caitlin played every game last year, high minutes. First of all, what was it like without her being out there? And then also, how have you processed, Steph talking about we need to manage minutes more. Yeah. You won't be as high, but we want more productive minutes.
I like it. I'm getting you don't get younger in this league, so you do whatever you have to do to obviously be your best version of yourself. Mm-hmm. There's going to be times during the game where I need to be the best version of me, and Kaylee need to do the same thing. And I think with a little time on the bench or just a water break here and there, it's beneficial for us. And I think if you want to win, you willing to sacrifice knowing that your role is different. It's a little shift here and there, but I think it's worth it.
And then about the communication, that was the biggest thing that stood out. Everyone was talking to someone. Yeah. Does that come naturally to this group, or is that everyone kind of following that message from Saturday?
I think it comes from everybody. Even like with Kayla being out today, her PG leadership was vital. Down the stretch when we were losing, we heard her voice, we heard how in tune that she was. And so I think over the course of time, it'll be kind of like you don't have to even think about the communication part. But I think right now for us to get through these games, communication is heavy. Even from the ones that's not playing or what you still have itself, it's important.
She said, Kaylin, listen, I'm telling y'all, Kaylin was fully in tune in that game. And again, everything Kelsey is saying is just so spot on. Like, she is a gem. We have a lot of gems on our team, man. A lot of doggy dogs who on that court and off that court, they're gems. Real professional, understand the game of basketball, love the game of basketball. Like this woman here loves basketball. And she knows the game of basketball. And she speaks with a professionalism that I appreciate, and I'm sure a lot of y'all appreciate. That's why we're so glad we brought her back to the Fever, and hopefully she will retire as a Fever, because it's lovely to watch. Yes, it is.
Kelsey, it felt like the competitive energy was high for a preseason game. How does that drive you, and do you welcome that?
I love it. Like I said, that game was I don't think anybody in this room thought we were going to OT against the DC Mystics. So I think that collectively, over time, like you want to be around people that want to win. And I think right here, this group that we have, we want to win. Whether we're on the court, whether I'm on the court or not, I want to see others win. But I think we all have that willingness to shit, we got to figure it out. And I think that's the best part about our group this year.
Yeah, we got to figure it out.
Like your Sophie, your Lexi, even the young ones that you haven't seen, your Bree Halls, KK, like we all have that sense of shit, we're not going to lose if we got a chance to fix it. So I think this is our mindset as a group right now.
We're going to learn a lot about your energy from Kelsey and Stephanie.
Love, hold on, before Sophie the trophy go. Love, again, I got to say it. Standing ovation, round of applause for the way we are so professional and got players that just know basketball and know how to talk basketball. I got an Angel Reese interview that I broke down our press conference before her pregame press conference. And go look at the difference. Go look at the difference of how she answers questions and a lot of other ones in the WNBA compared to the Fever players. Kelsey Pistol Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hall, Sophie Cunningham. Go check Aaliyah Boston. Check it out.
White in this game just now. Is that something innate for you in the way you play that you've always kind of had?
Yeah, it's just kind of who I am. I want to pour into my team as much as possible, and I'm pretty in tune with my body. I can read a room pretty well, and so when I see we're lacking a little bit, you got to step up. But if we're good, you're just there to encourage and give people confidence.
How much do you feel like you and Lexi fuel each other?
Until I know how to read a room. This girl, look, again, with personality, professionalism with personality, and again, knowledge of the game, love of the game.
When you're in lineups at the same time?
I just love her. I just think the defensive intensity that she brings. If we're good, you're just there to want to pour into my team as much as possible, and I'm pretty in tune with my body. I can read a room pretty well, and so when I see we're lacking a little bit, you got to step up. But if we're good, you're just there to encourage and give people confidence.
How much do you feel like you and Lexi fuel each other when you're in lineups at the same time?
I just love her. I just think the defensive intensity that she brings is like unmatched. Like I told her, we were just in there, I was like, dude, you could be defensive player of the year. Like depending on how this goes, like you just have great energy.
No doubt can be the defensive player of the year. Do you understand? Lexi Hall, really, this team is going to be winning and winning a lot. And Lexi Hall is going to be a big part of the anchor of this defense, along with Sophie, the Trophie, Cunningham, should be considered defensive player of the year. Sophie is on to something right there.
Energy, and she's just
and so as well as Sophie Cunningham, to be frank. We honestly, listen, when we run that lineup with Natasha Howard, Lexi Hall, Sophie the Trophie, Cunningham, Kaylin Clark, and whether it's AB or Michaela Timpson, let's just say Michaela Timpson because she got a little better defense than AB. No shot at AB. Michaela Timpson, she just seems to be all locked in on defense. Man, when you got that lineup out there, I think Sophie's going to be in her runnings for Defensive Player of the Year. Natasha Howard, the way she talking sounds like she wants to be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. So imagine us having 3 Defensive Player of the Year type players on our team, which we have. Ain't no imagine. We have it. That's what we have.
Building that way, and the way she cuts off the ball, her shooting ability. I think we're a lot alike besides the defensive end. So I'm proud of her. I think that we're just starting to learn how to play with each other with our rhythm, our chemistry, and just going to be better from here on out.
Oh yeah,
you guys have done well today.
Kaylin, Lexi, Sophie, call them trio the white chicks.
The offensive end you thought was off or that needs to be worked on heading into tomorrow?
Man, it's just we're a new team, right? You have a lot of newcomers. You have a new front office, a new coaching staff. You have a new system, and so it's going to take a little bit of time. This is the first time that we actually got up and down like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm not worried about it. I think for us, it's more on the defensive end.
Yeah.
I think offensively, I think everyone knows that we're a powerhouse there. But for me, it's defensively. How can we be a powerhouse on both ends?
Steph has talked a lot about wanting a player-led team, and Kelsey said that was kind of the case during that 17-5 run in the second quarter. Just how did you see that in that run, and how did you kind of try to lead in that situation?
I think it was defensively. I think they killed us in every quarter except the second quarter, and that's when we really picked up our defense. And so for us, it's just having each other's backs. It's making sure that you're constantly communicating up there to give your other players confidence to get up in the ball. And I feel like the more you talk, the better your rotations are. And then when you're talking, you don't have no choice but to listen to your voice sometimes. And so I think that we kind of went on that little run there because of our defense.
That's no basketball. They know basketball. Let's play. Let's go.
A lot of new faces, yourself included.
Have a couple runs put together. Actually, DB was my bet when I got drafted out to Phoenix. And so I know
it's competitive nature, but what did it mean to have to?
But I think at the end of the day, when everyone's willing to kind of put the egos aside and do the dirty work and get your teammates involved and trust that good things are going to happen.
So when you talk about building culture, chemistry, things like that, and obviously you get heated in a game like today, what did it mean to have to want to have back? I mean, it's competitive nature, but what did it mean to have to want to step up for you in that moment like that?
Man, I'm not surprised. Actually, DB was my bet when I got drafted out to Phoenix. And so I know she's not a fighter, but she's not scared to get with it a little bit. And kind of random thrown to the ground. We kind of need to hit the weight room. That's not good.
Personality, along with professionalism, along with knowing and loving the game of basketball. We present Indiana Fever.
Yeah, my back, and I think that's what it's all about, right? I think we have a huge target on our backs. I don't think that's a secret. And so making sure that our locker rooms like this now naturally flow onto the court, and I think you guys saw that today. 2 more.
You had like Caitlin take over a huddle, Austin took over a late. So many of you guys would pull each other aside. Why do you feel like you guys are so in tune with one another already?
It's what it's about, right? I think when you really do have really, really good people and you guys all have a common goal that you're trying to get to, that no one takes offense to anything, right? I think a couple of those huddles like, hey, Sophie, you got to get better on defense there. And I was like, yeah, dude, you're right. And so it's constantly communicating and it's not being defensive. Everyone's just trying to help. And I think you have a really good group of people. You have a great group of coaches. And again, I just think it's a great combo that if you're willing to have a growth mindset, good things are going to happen here in Indiana.
That's right.
It was a stretch when you had a number of key plays and scored a lot. And the crowd really started noticing you more and responding to you. But you also reacted back to them. Do you enjoy that interaction with the crowd?
Heck yeah. No, I really do think that's what it's all about, right? I think you want to make sure that your home court is special to you as a team, but you want to make it hard as heck for other people to come in here to Cambridge, and they don't want to play here, right? And I think with that, as an energy player, you got to get your fans involved. That's our 6th man right there. And they're loud, they're feisty, they're sassy. And it's like when you get them involved, then it's game over, right? You're in the other team's head. And so for me, especially when you have a couple runs put together, defensive stops, it takes someone just to get the fans involved. And then the other team feels that. Because I've been on the other end of it and it sucked. And so now that I'm here, I can embrace it and we can have some fun here this year.
Yeah, tell them about it. Tell them about it. Sophie. Cunningham. Hold on, let me get my pistol right. Y'all see the double barrel. You see the double barrel. I had to get the double barrel lighter for Sophie, the trophy Cunningham double barrel. You see it because Lexi Sexy Hall, get her hands on all the balls. She coming and she lighting them up too. The fever is on fire, baby. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna be here all season. It's going up. It's the Pope. Peace and love. I'm out.